Yeah, and like I said, I come from tape, so just that whole tape saturation, tape compression, just you be compressing the bejesus out of everything
Yeah.
going in,
Yeah.
and then you compress it when you come out again as well. So
Very
yeah.
cool. Awesome. So you
Mm.
kind of learned about recording engineering the same way I did, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Cause
Well, what was your background then?
oh, I went to school for it too. I went to college for it for a while, and
Nice.
I went to a University of Oshkosh in Wisconsin.
Okay.
So, um, and they had a recording engineering course. Um, they had a huge mixing board. It wasn't the fancy knee boards or the SSLs, but it was more like a huge Tascam board.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the model number, but we learned off of that, and just like you, they dropped the ball on the whole compression and EQ thing. But but the cool thing is, I have a very good ear, a very unusual, sensitive ear, and
Mm-hmm.
I notice certain things when I'm mixing and stuff. Sometimes other people don't notice, and so when I picked up on that, it was more like listening first and listening for the problem and figuring out as you go along.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
so that's kind of how I still mix that way now, even though I have
Yep.
all this other knowledge about doing the whole compression before or after EQ, so on and so forth. So I came up the same way
Yep.
you did, actually.
Oh well, there you go. I mean, I
Yeah.
think your point there, Sheila. Listening is what you got to do.
It's key,
Like,
right? I mean, you can call
right.
out all kinds of hertz and 500s and 10Ks and whatever, whatever, but what it boils down to is listening and what you actually hear,
Mm.
and
Exactly.
so I just try to listen very intently and make sure my mixes don't sound like crap. So,
I can't believe they would for a second.
well, um, I do okay. I do okay.
Mm.
So let's see. Let me see. Do I got some more technical questions for you? Are you into the whole side chaining thing, like kick and bass?
Um. I mean, yes, I have to. I have done. But I'm not like,
You're not a
oh,
fanatic
you
about it?
must. No, God, no. I mean, it's
Okay.
whatever sounds good. It's
Yeah.
kind of back to that thing of, if it's if you need that in order to achieve a certain sound, and that's what you want to do, then yes. Like, one of my favorite uses of sidechain, and I have the academy, to produce like a pro academy, to thank for this. My absolute favorite use for sidechain is on delays and reverbs on vocals. So where you sidechain
Yep.
you sidechain a compressor on the output of the reverb to the vocal, so you get this beautiful bloom of delay or reverb
Right.
when the vocal backs off. I love that. I think it's just
Oh
that
yeah.
that sort of mono in your face vocal, and then just suddenly expanding out to this beautiful sort of stereo image.
Oh yeah.
That's one of my favorite uses of sidechain. The whole kick and bass thing, sure, why not? Like,
Yeah.
if it works, absolutely. I
I mean, you
if we're
don't
talking
really have
about,
to use it. I mean, I only use it if I can't, if I'm struggling between the kick and the bass and trying to get that
yeah,
balance, or if one is drowning out the other, then I do the whole
totally,
side chaining. Uh,
yeah,
so that,
yeah, 100%, yeah,
yeah,
100%. It really, it depends on what you want. I'm a big fan of you know, the of high passing the bass.
Yeah, definitely.
And to give the kick room.
Yeah.
But if it needs to be sidechained, then, or if anything, if you need to sidechain something, then, you know, do that. I like to sidechain maybe a snare
Okay.
to try and cut out some of the bleed sometimes.
Okay.
But it really depends. It's like in the old days, especially when working on SSLs, you'd use the gate a lot when you mix, like the desk gate, so in the channel, to kind of cut out a lot of bleed. And you know, this was the 90s, so you wanted that very clean sound. You know, I was very privileged. I worked in the strong room in London on an album by a band called Mono.
Okay.
Which again, not the Japanese band. There's an English band called Mono, and the song is High Life. Go check it out. A fantastic album. They did their big hits were Slim See a Girl and Hello Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah, we recorded there, and that was the first time I'd ever come across digital recording. I'd done ADATs and stuff before, but proper hard disk recording. That was the Atari Radar hard disk system. Right, and if anyone's come across that, it was like the veil being lifted from my eyes, because pressing rewind, waiting 30 seconds to a minute for the tape to rewind didn't happen anymore. You just pressed loop and it just looped. It was incredible. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
But it was a very digital sound, you know. It was very clean sound, and people wanted that clean sound. So back then you'd use the gate a lot, and you'd have to be really careful, because especially on snares and stuff, sometimes you'd miss grace notes, or you'd miss little accents that would happen. So yeah, sidechaining is sometimes a bit better for that. But again, whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Now you don't have to give up your little secret sauces in your mixing, but do you have any that you want to share? Any, like,
I think, yeah,
or you could just give me one secret sauce for the audience. They're like, give me something, man.
Give me something. Give me the good stuff. There is no secret sauce.
Okay.
The secret sauce is there are no rules.
Right.
Don't be restricted by the rules.
Yeah.
Do what sounds good. If it sounds good, and you're going, but that's going against such and such said that this is the way to do it. Nah, bullshit, man.
Yeah.
Just, if it sounds good, it is good.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, and that was, one of the things that I was saying earlier is, yes, the course didn't really teach me about how to use compression properly, or how to EQ properly, or, what reverb really meant, or how to EQ, all of those sort of techniques. But I'm thankful for that, because what I learnt was on the job learning by just messing around with stuff, just getting in. I used to take multi-tracks in off time, go into the studio and mix stuff and just do things to try it out and to see what worked. And that's how I learned. And that taught me that there are no rules. So I think the secret sauce is just, if it sounds good, it is good.
Of course.
Just keep messing with it.
Do you do parallel compression at all, like on your drums?
Hell yes.
All the time,
pretty
right?
much yeah, pretty much every mix I will have a parallel compression of some sort.
Yeah. I heard
I may not.
I heard one guy said that in his template he just have rows and rows of parallel compression set up for everything, And I was like,
Totally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll use it on everything. Vocals, drums, super compressed guitars.
Honestly, I haven't tried it on vocals. I mainly use it on drums.
Yeah, I mean, drums is kind of the go-to, right?
Right.
It's if you want that sort of, especially if you're doing sort of rock. I use it on a lot of stuff. It kind of, if you want a little bit more power in the chorus, just sort of pump it up a little bit in the chorus,
Yeah.
automate it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for sort of rock music, something that's really needs the energy and needs the power. Yeah, absolutely. The vocals, I especially if you bus a whole bunch of vocals together, I found it works really nicely. Not extreme. You don't have it basically set at zero and sort of right there with everything else, but just something underneath. Bring it up until you can feel, gives you that sort of additional bit of extra oomph.
Cool. Now I think you mentioned this before, but you you don't care about what genre you're mixing, right? You just mix, or do you have a specific genre that you prefer to work in?
Not really. I mean, you're right. Like I quite happily will mix most things.
Okay.
I find some more challenging than
Mhm.
others.
Mhm.
Metal, and not old school metal, but modern metal like grind or the really shouty. I hesitate to say aggressive, but I can't think of another word. I find that really challenging. The really clicky drums.
Yeah.
I, 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 I find it very challenging to work on that kind of music.
Okay.
I think mainly because I don't understand it. It's not my thing. I don't listen to it, so I don't really understand it. Um, so that's probably the only genre of music I wouldn't necessarily work on. But everything else, I used to record. I mean, I would class myself as a recording engineer because I love recording,
Right. Right.
working with a band or working with musicians, right?
Okay.
And yeah, recording an orchestra. God, that's just there is. If you have you ever done that, Sheila? Have you ever
No,
recorded like an orchestra
I
or
haven't had the pleasure. I've did production on mixes where I added the string sections and stuff, but I've never recorded an orchestra. That would be awesome.
oh man, yeah. If you ever get the chance, and this goes to anybody out there who is fancies themselves as a recording engineer, if you ever get the chance to record string piece, full orchestra, brass brass section, obviously individual instruments, but a section of musicians playing together, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
It is so intense,
I bet it is.
but damn, it's fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can believe that.
Yeah. It is a lot of fun.
So you have recorded live bands and you have done in the box. Which one do you prefer?
Um, I mean, look, as I said, I would class myself as a recording engineer. My The challenge for myself was always record it so that when whoever is mixing it, all they need to do is put the faders up to zero and the mix is basically there.
Right.
And then when I was mixing, mix it so that all the mastering engineer had to do was fire it up, maybe match, like bring it up to broadcast level.
Yeah.
Maybe add a bit of boom and fizz, a bit of top and bottom,
Yeah.
maybe, but minimal, right? And it's always, I think, the goal of the previous step to make the next step as simple as possible and require as little work as possible. So, yeah, I would always class myself as a recording engineer because that's what I love. Working with bands, just that vibe of being in a studio and feeling that. I remember I recorded vocals. Here's another story for you. So I recorded vocals for Bjork, and that was, incredible experience, right? This is Bjork. So Bjork, when she'd recorded, she'd released Debut, her first album, and she came in and we were doing some vocals, and it was being produced by a musician, very, very famous, well-known musician, who I won't say his name. And I kept missing the punch-in. I was about maybe 3 years into it, and I kept missing the punch-in. And after about the third time, he was just yelling and screaming at me.
Wow.
I mean, totally my fault. Like, I don't know what was going on. I was totally missing it. But just recording her, she did one pass, and we had to do some punches in. And after the first pass, I just looked at him and was, well, that's it. We're done. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that feeling of working with someone and just getting that kind of feedback and seeing someone amazing, record a piece of music like that is my love. That was where I would want to be. But the fact is, I have a laptop which sits over there, and it is a MacBook Pro, and it has an entire large format console in it, and
Yes.
an entire studio of incredible gear in it.
Yes.
If I had the choice in the room and the money, I would have a massive SSL recording desk.
Yes.
Like, a G4000 or a G6000, no problem, with desk automation and everything else. That would make me so happy. The smell of isopropyl on the channel mix, on the channels and the faders, makes me super happy.
Now,
But life is what it is. So
Yeah.
when I want to mix, I have a computer, and I'm quite happy in the box. It's fine. It does the thing for me. So
yes, there are some benefits to in the box. Totally.
100%.
Just set up your gear and turn on the laptop, and you're good to go.
Absolutely. I could be on a beach and
Right.
mixing a track, and I'm like, yeah, sweet. What about, have you got a hardware setup?
Not really. I'm mostly in the box. I do own some. I don't own anything that's worth mentioning, but and it's so dated. I do have the original MPC, the Roger Lynn version of the MPC
Ooh.
3000. So
Wow.
they're really hard to come by, and it's in mint condition. So I still have that, and it still works.
Nice.
Still works flawlessly. So, but as far as outboard gear, not really, nothing really to mention. But and a lot of stuff I had. I was making the transition to in the box anyway, so
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff just either got too old and I got rid of it, or I wanted the studio to be more user friendly, where I could just sit down and get to work right away and not worry about connecting this and connecting that. I just wanted to get started, and bada bing, bada boom,
Yeah.
But
Absolutely. I mean, that's what In the Box gives you, right? It's just, you want to get started.
yeah,
You get a computer, you get some software, headphones, boom, off you go.
yeah.
Done.
But I will as I need to update my computer, but I do want to get a better, bigger monitor and do the whole mix the music to film and all of that, and have that kind of a setup, more of a, not necessarily a film composer, but more like a film mixer, or remixer, recording engineer. And once I get that set up, I'm good to go. But like I said, right now it's a cool setup right now. But but I have an interesting question for you, since you opened this particular door. the young man that you were at 20 years old, that young guy you was telling me about. Now, what would you do? What would you do if that 20-year-old came to you and said, I want to do this type of work. How do I go about it? And you're this 20-year-old, the way you described yourself at 20.
Arrogant little shit, I think is the correct description. Yeah.
How would you tell a young 20-year-old how to get started in this business?
I mean, assuming that someone has the love for it,
Right.
I would just say be open.
Now, remember, we're talking
Be
about you at 20. Like, you're looking at yourself at
totally,
20.
man.
Now, what would you tell
Yeah.
yourself at 20?
We're getting deep. We're going deep. Yeah. Yeah. Look, just be open, be humble.
And slow down, right?
So, yeah, I would say just to myself, be open, be humble,
Okay.
listen. You do not know everything. You are not the expert
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
everything. And learn and understand. You're gonna need resilience. You're gonna need dedication.
Yeah.
It is, I think the 20-year-old me, the 21-year-old me got into music for love of music and the strong desire. When I was at school, they said we did one of those career things, and the outcome from this computer, it was the 80s, right? So computers knew everything. Everyone thought computers were all powerful. And a computer told me that I could be a dustbin man or a prison officer.
Okay.
And I said, screw that. I'm going to be a sound engineer. And I think talking to myself back then, just, be resilient, stick at it, follow your dream, and, don't give up. Don't give up.
Cool. So let me see. Um, do you have any current projects you're working on, like with an artist or your own personal project?
Always got lots of things happening. I have, much like most people, many, many, many unfinished projects in my
Me too.
hard drive.
Me
Right?
too.
Yeah, I think that's a thing. I Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity to work with artists.
Yeah.
When I meet people, I always say to them, "Hey, if you want me to mix something, the dude that cuts my hair, he's a musician and he's recording an album at the moment. I think he's just finishing mixing it, and I think the number of times I've said to him, "Hey, man, if you wanted me to mix something for you, like I'm totally happy to do that. I'll do
Yeah.
it for free, no
Yeah.
problem."
Yeah.
I think we all try and do that.
Yeah. I still do that now. I still work on a
Yeah,
few
absolutely
free
right.
projects and stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it has to be done. Get your name out there and just, and I'm lucky enough I have a job that allows me to do what I need to do and,
Yeah.
enjoy mixing and just mucking about with music. So I have a collab going at the moment.
Okay.
I'm working on a mix of Salisbury Hill, and one of the Academy members, Chris, is doing some bass line for. He actually sent it to me this morning, which is super cool. So I'm excited to get that in.
Okay.
I'm writing a song. I've got a song going, which is using. Oh God, which is it? I've just found I took off some samples from a Cure track and sort of built that into a song as well. So I've got that going, and that's actually coming along quite well.
Oh, cool.
Which is,
That sounds like a
yeah, I'm
personal
pretty
project to me.
totally,
Yeah.
man. Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah,
Awesome.
Reason. I think, like I was saying before, Reason is one of those programs you could just get in and start putting stuff together, and you come up with something, and it's like, oh, this is cool. It might be a 30-second loop, and this is actually turning into a 4-minute song. So I'm like, oh, this could go somewhere. So yeah, cool.
Nice.
So yeah, a few things. A few
When
bits
you
and
get
pieces,
done with
yeah.
that one, I want to hear it.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'll probably share it. I'm thinking, I'm getting to a point now where it might have to go into the collab channel in the Academy, and just like, hey, if anyone wants to add something to this, like, let me know. This would be cool.
Oh, cool.
So,
That's wonderful.
yeah.
Well, you know what? We're on the last question. And you know what the last question is? It's rapid fire question time. So I'm going to.
Don't do rapid fire, Sheila. How long have we been talking? Come on, man.
Oh, these are fun. I'm just going to ask you
Okay.
what your favorites are. And you could just give me either a one-word answer or two-word answer, whatever you like to give for an answer. So,
Boom.
so here we go with the rapid fire questions. Favorite food?
Something simple but beautiful ingredients.
Okay. Favorite drink?
A pint of Guinness or a pint of English bitter.
Ah, there you go. Favorite album or artist?
Oh man, you are asking me to choose my favorite child now. Come on, you can't do this. You cannot. It's, honestly, I mean, I probably have to go. Something by Pink Floyd, so Wish You Were Here, or So by Peter Gabriel, or Grace by Jeff Buckley,
Okay.
or Infected by The. I mean,
That's okay. That's okay. I
so many. What day is it? I'll tell you a different answer.
I tend to get everybody on the rapid fire question. They're like, "Are you kidding me, Sheila?" The last one is favorite quote or best advice.
So I think one of my favorites, probably favorite quote would be from the great Bob Clearmountain, who I would class as sort of one of my mixing heroes. There are few secrets to leadership. It's mostly just hard work, which I don't know, actually, is that? Yeah, no, that's not him. That is Stanley McChrystal, who is a U.S. military general, but an incredibly inspiring leader. So
Okay.
yeah, there are a few secrets to leadership. It's mostly just hard work.
Okay.
And I think that relates to everything.
Okay.
So
If you want to say something about Bob, it's okay with me too.
hey, Bob is, trust your ears, really. Mm-hmm. Just trust your ears.
Yeah.
And I think Bob embodies that. I think I would be incredibly privileged to ever meet him, but I think it would be that thing of don't ever meet your heroes.
Oh yeah.
But,
oh yeah. Been there.
yeah. Right. Okay. So yeah, that would be an amazing guy. And so from everything, I've obviously never met him, but from everything that I've read and watched, seems like such a humble kind of guy and just so talented and someone that anyone in the music industry and our side of the industry could aspire to. So yeah.
Well, Paul, that's it as far as like for questions and everything. And I just want to thank you for spilling the tea with She and participating in this podcast. You absolutely rock. And just thank you for showing up and putting in the time. Because, I mean, I just love talking about music. And I'm just glad you're willing to sit down with me and do the podcast with me. So thank you very, very, very much.
My absolute pleasure, Sheila. And thank you for the opportunity. It was wonderful to talk to you and see you in the in the flesh.
Yeah,
kind of.
isn't that something?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the U.S. and you're in Australia. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Blows my mind. Hey,
it really does.
It's kind of crazy. It is totally.
But
so thank you, Sheila. It was really fun. I love talking about music and this stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, you're like one of the greatest guests. I mean, you're like perfect for this forum because it's just chillax.
I'll take it.
It's just chillaxing and hanging out with a friend and just talking about music. That's all it is.
Absolutely.
So thanks again, Paul.
I was blind, didn't know how far I could fall. If this is love, then I want it all. of a routine under falling skies again, again, again. I was sick